Welcome to Driving the Lane with Randy Kraayenbrink and Chuck Rowe, a podcast presented by News Talk 1540 KXCL. Now, Driving the Lane.
Welcome to Driving the Lane. Randy Kraayenbrink, Chuck Rowe, the show where we talk about mostly one thing and one thing only, and that is
Panther basketball.
Now, it's important that we remind you that although we are the official UNI basketball show for News Talk 1540 KXCL, our comments may not reflect the feelings of our friends at UNI. However, Randy is a former player, and I'm going to Arch Madness. So this show is as official as it's going to get. So
Awesome.
you're missing out, Randy. I know you can't make it this year, and some years have, some years haven't, but you're missing out on a good time.
Yep. It's hopefully the Panthers can peak at the right time.
When you come to playoff time, which is basically what this is, right? It's playoffs. It's a new season, right? It's a new season.
Brand new season. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So as always, we have a great show for everyone this week. Joining us today, Isaiah Brown. Then we have the Midwest Studies Group Nonprofit of the Week. And of course, the Financial Architects Quote of the Week. Let's get started. Randy, excited to have with us today. Drum roll, please. Mr. Isaiah Brown, thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Now, Isaiah, you've been on our show many of times throughout your career. Always great having you on. We usually talk about, how you got to UNI all the way from Texas and what is recruiting like, things like that. So we know that story. But one of the things we want to get into first is now that we're at the end of the season for the Panthers, you obviously have this type of experience having gone through this before. But first off, they just had senior night. From a player's perspective, when you were an underclassman, is there pressure for the underclassmen to try to win for the seniors?
I would say for sure. I mean, obviously senior night is a big night for all players in college, and that's their last home game at the home arena. So you definitely want to make it a good one for them, especially like I said, knowing they're a senior, and some guys don't play after college. So you definitely want to make their last home game memorable for them.
And is that assumed that everyone knows that? Or is there something like, do the underclassmen get together and talk a little bit and say, hey guys, let's do this right? Or
no, I feel like it's assumed. I feel like everyone knows they want to make the seniors their senior night the best night for them.
Okay. And your particular senior year, you go to Arch Madness. What was that feeling like when you knew you were down to those last final moments of your career?
It was actually very crazy. I'm not a very emotional person, but after the last game of Arch Madness, I definitely shed a few tears.
So Isaiah, I have a question for you. So going into Arch Madness, obviously you did it 4 years, if I remember right.
Yeah.
In those years, there obviously was seasons you went in as maybe the underdog, and there were seasons you went in possibly in the middle or on the top. Does Coach Jake treat that? Does he treat that any differently if you're, playing now? You used to be not wanting to play on Thursday, but now it's different situation this year. But does Coach Jake do anything different in practice leading up to Arch Madness if we're playing well or if we're not playing well?
No, I feel like he stays the same no matter how we're playing. I mean, all that matters when we go down to St. Louis is you just got to win. You can play on Thursday and still come out and get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. So you just got to come in every day locked in, no matter if you're playing on Thursday or Friday. Just the key to the game is just try to win.
At Arch Madness, again, it's like the season gets to start over all again. You hit their reset button, and doesn't matter how many wins or losses you have. Coach Brown's in the locker room, and he's trying to get this very young Panther team excited about winning. What are you telling them?
I'll just say, don't let the moment get too big, and I'll just definitely give them a prime example. My junior year, we were up in the championship game. We were up by 17 points in the second half, and Bradley ended up coming back to beat us. So I'll tell them the game's definitely not over, whether you're up by 20 or down by 20. Just play every possession hard, and you never know what can happen.
Yeah, you never know how bad the refs will be in the championship game. Exactly. Yeah.
You can only control what you can control.
So, well, in a similar fashion, your freshman year, you had a lot of young players playing, and your record wasn't necessarily the best. But by the time you left, you guys won a lot of games. I think about 25 or so, right? Mm-hmm. So Was it ever hard to be patient? And what advice would Coach Brown be telling these young guys about their future years?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's obviously as a player, you always want to play, but also as a player, you have to understand why you're not playing. So me as a freshman, my story was kind of interesting because I didn't know if I was going to redshirt until literally the day of our first game. Because, as soon as you go in during a regular season game, your redshirt year is over. And so me and Coach Jake had a meeting, and we actually decided that I was going to play my freshman year. And I didn't have, there were some games where I played 10 minutes, some games where I didn't go in at all. But I feel like the little bit that I played definitely gave me some great experience for, the rest of my career. I played very little my freshman year, and I ended up starting my sophomore, junior, and senior year. So, like I said, just that little bit of experience that I did get to play my freshman year, I feel like helped me a lot throughout the rest of my career.
So in that freshman year, did you ever look back and say, I wish I would have redshirted, or were you satisfied that you got those minutes you got and the experience you received and had 3 years left?
Well, now that COVID has happened and we didn't get a chance to actually, make some noise in the NCAA tournament like I feel like we were going to, and they gave that year to the class under me, I kind of wish I would have redshirted, but like I said, I just feel like those minutes that I did get to play my freshman year helped me out along the way, having a starting role the rest of my career. So I feel like if COVID would have never happened, then I wouldn't have, regretted not redshirting. But since we couldn't get that extra year, then maybe I wish I would have.
So you fast forward all these years, and are there any good pranks or jokes you played on any coaches or staff or any of your teammates that you could be honest about now that you couldn't say then?
Honestly, not that I know of. I want to be on everybody's good side, so I'm not doing any pranks on anybody.
Well, all these years later, let's just be honest. We're going to throw some of your guys under the bus here. Who was most likely out of your teammates to sleep in and be late for that workout or practice?
Oh, I'll probably say Antoine.
Antoine, okay.
Probably Antoine. He was. It was kind of funny on his official visit. Me and Taiwan were his hosts, and we were kind of like letting him know, like, yeah, you're on a visit, but we still got like 6:30 lifting in the morning. He was like, "What? 6:30? You have stuff that early?" I'm like, "Yeah, like we got stuff even earlier than that, so you might want to be prepared for it."
So for those of us who don't get to experience this, what happens? Like, what's the normal punishment if you show up to practice 5 minutes late?
You'll probably just have to talk to Coach Jake, and it really just depends on how he's feeling that day. You could do a couple of sprints and stuff before practice, or you could have to do something for a week until you can come back to practice. It just kind of depends on how he's feeling.
Okay, so don't be late.
Don't be late.
Yeah.
I would not advise you to be late.
Now, I know the staff is really picky about the types of foods you need to eat, and depending on who the health coach was at the particular time, it's usually more picky than others. Who was the teammate that was just, no matter what the coaches said, kept on eating those extra ding dongs and apple pies and doing things they shouldn't be doing?
Honestly, it was probably me, because I didn't really have a specific meal plan. They wanted me to get in as many calories as I could because my metabolism is so high and I burn calories so fast. Like they wanted me to eat any and everything I could just to put on a little weight. So I was definitely the one that was snacking all the time and had some couple rice cakes and stuff like that. So,
well, which one of your teammates?
Chuck, I have a food question to follow up on that. So Isaiah, did you have any superstitions? Like if you had a good game and you ate rice crackers or whatever you ate, did you eat those maybe the next game as well?
Honestly, not really. I do have like a pregame ritual, but the specific food wasn't one of those.
All right.
So which person on your team was not just a good player, but a player? And every time they went to that away game, they always had to try to look good for the ladies, or they were trying to maybe get a phone number from someone from an away game. Who is that person most likely to be?
Well, I'm not going to say that he was trying to get numbers and stuff from them, but there was definitely eyes on him, definitely Trey Burhow. he was definitely the pretty boy on the team, but again, he had a girlfriend, so he wasn't really too worried about him, but they were definitely worried about him.
Okay. Way to stay faithful, Mr. Trey. Good
Oh,
job.
no,
Good
for
job.
sure, for sure. Always.
What about which player would be most likely to forget their uniform, shoes, clothes, etc. for a game?
Ooh, that's a good question. In my years, I don't remember anybody ever doing that, but if I were to say someone, I have to go with my boy Taiwan.
Okay.
Taiwan. But like I said, in my years, I don't remember anybody ever doing that. But if somebody were to do it, I think Taiwan would do it.
Randy, did you ever have anyone forget anything for a game?
No, not that I remember as well. We had it pretty much passed to go.
Okay. Okay.
Now I can say I have actually a funny story. Me and Jawan, our freshman year, so we were unaware that after away games, we go straight from the arena to the airport and, go back to Cedar Falls that night. So I think it was our first away game and we were playing, I want to say Xavier at their place. And when we left the hotel to go to the game, we left all of our stuff in there because we're thinking maybe we're going to back to the hotel after the game, shower and then catch a flight early in the morning. And we end up we pull out of the arena and I see we're on our way to the airport. And 10 minutes later, I see that we're at the airport. And I looked at Jawan, I was like, are we not going back to the room? Because he left his stuff there too. And so we texted Coach Jake or something, and he couldn't really get mad because nobody told us anything, but they were kind of frustrated. Of course a freshman would do something like that. But after that, we never made that mistake again.
So how did you get your stuff? Who had to go get it?
So the hotel actually went in there and just shipped it all to us. They just put it all in a box and shipped it to the McLeod Center. So that was a bad freshman mistake that we made. First away game.
That's a good one.
Well, what about which one of your teammates talked the most trash?
Oh, that was definitely Trey Burhow as well.
Okay.
Trey Burhow, for sure.
Even during practice?
Because it got him going and it got the team going. So kind of worked out for us.
What about during practice?
For sure, in practice as well, Trey. For sure.
Okay.
For sure. He was like the Energizer Bunny of the team. Him and Antoine for sure.
What about getting ready just to go out into town, getting the clothes, hair, etc. ready? You just want to get out of there and there's this one person just fixing their hair nonstop. Who is that person?
I have to say that's Trey as well. Like I said, he's a pretty boy. He always wants to look good no matter where we're going, whether that's a basketball game or going to grab a bite to eat or whatever. I say definitely Trey.
Of course, we're just having a lot of fun. You had great teammates, a great career at UNI.
Right.
But later on, you had a chance to play guys from the Dallas Mavericks. And, you got to play with the G League team, the Texas Legends. Tell us about that feeling you first got when you put on that NBA Summer League jersey for the very first time.
Man, it was actually crazy. It's just every hooper's dream is to, play for a team in the NBA. And, Summer League, you're actually with the team. It's not the G League. You're with the team. You practice at their facility. The actual staff, the actual Maverick staff is coaching you. And it's just kind of a surreal feeling that you just kind of almost feel like you made it. Obviously, I didn't make it, but I feel like that was a huge step in my career to be able to, put on a Dallas Mavericks jersey and actually represent them in the Summer League.
Well, don't down yourself too much. You made it a lot further than many of us have, right? So,
right, that's
awesome.
True.
Now, to be honest, though, did you ever snag a photo or an autograph from any of the Dallas players, or did you try to play it cool?
I actually did not. I try to play it cool like I've been there before, but obviously, like I said, it's a blessing to be able to, practice with those guys and be around those guys and just, learn a little bit from them. And
I know you have some own bragging rights yourself, though, that a lot of G Leaguers never had the chance to do. And that's being part of the 3-on-3 World Cup team for Team USA. How did you get selected for that? I know there were some open games nationally, and how do those tryouts work? Anyways, walk us through that entire process.
Yeah, so actually my agent just hit me up with the opportunity, and we felt like it was a great opportunity. I think there was about, I want to say 25 or so guys that got invited to a tryout in Springfield. And from those 20 guys, they picked, I want to say 9, and we all played in a little 3-on-3 tournament. And then they evaluated us during that tournament, and from those 9, they picked 6 guys to be on that team, and 4 of us traveled at a time. And so with 6 guys, we kind of just rotated. So I didn't go to every single one, but I did go to most of them.
And educate us a little bit of the difference. Like I mean, obviously we know what under 18 is, but there's like an under 18, under 23, there's a World Cup, there's a national. Like, what are all these different teams and where do you fit in on that?
Right, yeah. So there's all these different age groups. I was on the World. So I think there was a World Cup team and a World Tour team. I was on the World Tour team. And like I said, 6 of us made the team, and we just kind of traveled all over the world and played in these tournaments, and we could win some money while doing it. So that made it even that much better.
Okay. And were you coached by Fran Fraschilla, did I say?
Fran Fraschilla. Yeah, Fran Fraschilla. Great
That's
guy.
pretty amazing.
Guy.
Yeah. What was that experience like?
It was great. He kind of reminded me of Coach Jake a little bit. They both know what they want, and they want it done the right way. Like, they don't want to make any shortcuts. Like, if he tells you to do something, he wants it done that specific way. And he takes his job like really serious. Like, he does it like he has a passion for it.
You got to play overseas. You got the chance to be part of this World Cup team. When NBA players choose not to represent Team USA, do you think they're crazy for missing out?
I would say so. I feel like it's just a straight blessing to be able to, represent the country and then do what you love doing and while representing the country. So anytime I get asked to represent the USA, I would definitely do it.
The 3-on-3 women's team had Lauren Cox, who's another Flower Mound player from your own high school. You obviously knew each other. Did you call each other right afterwards when you found out, or what were those conversations like?
I definitely texted her and told her congrats and told her I'd be there as well. And the girls actually weren't at all the tournaments that we were at, but they were at a couple of them. So we were able to, chop it up and catch up from the high school year. So that was definitely good to see somebody from my hometown and somebody that I knew was playing for the USA team as well.
When you left the college world and went into that professional world, like, what was the biggest part that you either had to change on your game or work on at that different level when you went to that next level?
Honestly, I would just say just staying confident. When you make it to these bigger stages, you might not have the ball in your hands all the time. And I felt like I've always been a great role player. So even my years playing with a guy like AJ, he has the ball in his hands a lot. And my role was to play defense and hit open threes. And I feel like that really didn't change once I got to the G League level. We had guards coming from, bigger schools and stuff like that, guards that are getting NBA looks. So if I just, continue to play defense, I play defense and hit an open three, then I feel like, I'm doing the same thing I was doing in college.
In something like the G League, is it hard to play your game when you're trying to make it and other people are trying to make it? Or do people respect each other's game and try to pass the ball and help each other out?
Yeah, so it kind of just depends on, what team you're playing for. Because we definitely played some teams that, dudes are trying to get theirs and trying to get their stats. But actually, the team that I played for on the Legends, we were really good about playing as a team and, not caring about who scores and stuff like that. So I felt like I had a really good experience, my first full season in the G League.
Well, let's talk about your future for a moment. You had a tough injury. Maybe you could share with us what that injury was like and what the process is now for you.
Right. I tore up almost everything in my knee. I tore ACL, MCL, PCL, and LCL. It was a very successful surgery. We're looking at about a 12-month recovery process. I had the surgery at the end of September, so I'm about 5 months in. So about 7 months left, and so far so good. Everything's going well. The doctor actually said I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. Obviously not rushing things, but everything's going well.
Now, is that like a wear and tear process, or did you have a fall, or what happened?
Yeah, so I was actually playing basketball, and I was on a fast break, and I made a pass, and I took like 2 more steps and ended up stepping on the defender's foot. So just kind of like a freak accident. I stepped on his foot, then my knee went all the way back and to the side and everything else. So when it happened, I knew it was all bad, but yeah.
See, Randy, that's why I don't exercise. You can get hurt. You can
right?
So
you can hurt yourself, Chuck, if you exercise. That's very true.
I stay away from it.
So Isaiah, in this recovery process, obviously that's a totally different. It sounds like you haven't had many injuries in your career, high school, college, all of that. So tell us kind of what you've learned in this process and what your how the recovery mentally is going.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. I feel like mentally I was struggling more than physically. No matter how much the pain hurt, mentally I was just like, because like you said, I don't remember ever missing a game for even a ankle tweak. Like I've played almost every game in my career, so definitely mentally it was hard. But once I got through those first couple months and I, was seeing, baby steps of recovery, like, okay, now I'm only on one crutch. Okay, now I'm off the crutches completely. Okay, now I don't even have to wear a brace. It's just kind of good to, see the progress being made, and hearing the doctor say that I'm ahead of schedule and stuff like that. It's just always easier.
You said you're 5 to 6 months into the process. What are you hoping to come this fall? Are you looking for G League again, or looking for overseas, or Dallas Mavs, of course? But what else? What are you thinking?
Definitely back with the Legends. If another opportunity doesn't present itself, like I said, they still have my rights. So the only way that I wouldn't play for them is if they trade them to another team. So as of right now, I'll still be with the Legends again next season.
So here's a young kid from Flower Mound, and look at those guns, huh? Look at those guns. You gotta, man, put those things away. But well, when you look at this photo here, what advice would you be telling this kid now that you're 8 years older?
Well, I would tell him that he should have taken weights more serious in high school, because we lifted as a team in high school, but nobody really took it too serious. I definitely regret that decision, but once I got to college and we started to take it serious, I got substantially stronger in college. So I would definitely say, get on the weights early for sure.
No, that's awesome. We've heard that from multiple players that are in the program right now, or obviously graduated out of the program. So you're not the first one to say that, you didn't take it as serious enough, maybe in high school or early college years. But
right.
So that's interesting that y'all are saying that. But it's hard. I mean, you've got other things to do in high school as well. It's you've got books to chase and girls to chase, and what else you got to do in high school?
Right.
Well, Isaiah just focused on the books, Randy. That's all.
For sure. Just the books.
Correct.
Just the
Correct.
books.
Never had a girlfriend in college or in high school.
There we go. Yeah. Keep focused. So, but Isaiah, I know what you're thinking right now, and what you're thinking is, out of all the former Panther players and Koreans that have a radio show that focus on the UNI Panthers, we are still your favorites over all these years. Am I right? Yeah.
Definitely the favorite.
Yeah. And I feel like he's not just saying that either. Good. So
no, I believe him.
Yeah. So, but anyways, always one of our favorites. And like we brought up before, Randy, me and you, we do own a set of Isaiah Brown uniforms, right? Isn't that his uniform we own?
Yes,
Yeah. We co-own his uniforms. I have the shorts, he has the jersey, and
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Yeah, we got it.
So, but any final words for Panther fans out there, especially as we get into Arch Madness?
Just go out there and play your hardest. Like I said, you never know what can happen, whether you're up by 20, down by 20. Just go out there and represent the Panthers the right way.
Isaiah, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you playing in the future once you get up healthy again.
This week's Midwest Studies Group Nonprofit of the Week is a group called Americans for Independent Living. Randy, have you ever heard of them?
I have never heard of them, Chuck.
Well, they also go by AFIL. They're a wonderful group who focuses on providing services to vets in need. They do some housing, they do some resource help with them, and some other things as well. So when you get the chance, I would encourage you to check them out. And for all the listeners as well, you can see them at afil.org. So I just wanted to mention that to everyone.
afil.org.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll check that out.
However, now's the part of the show that everyone has been waiting for, the Financial Architect's quote of the week.
All right, here we go. When you're happy, you enjoy the music. But when you're sad, you understand the lyrics.
Okay.
Kind of deep, Chuck.
It is. Country music comes to mind.
Ooh,
that always seems
right.
Which I don't listen to. What kind of music? What's your favorite type of music, Randy?
Yeah, so 101.9, I listen to the Christian music station quite a bit.
Okay.
And then, then I go to like whatever the kids or the grandkids are listening to on their radios at the time. So some top 40. Yeah. Not much country though. Not much country.
Yeah, I don't listen to country, but you bring us some great points, especially about Christian music. A lot of times I'll listen to it and I don't know the words, but I know the tunes, right? Especially old hymns.
Right.
But then when I take the time to listen to the lyrics, it's a little more impactful.
Yep, exactly. Very true.
100% correct. Love it. Great quote as always. Good for me, good for you, good for everybody. Now it's time to say goodbye from Chuck and Randy. See you next week. Enter the closing music.